Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. It's Financial Freedom Friday. And you got Gus Tucker here. And you've got my brother here, Mr. Jeff Farrell. How you doing, Jeffrey?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing good. I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit. Let's see. Well, yeah, that'll work. And I know we're trying some new elements today, so we're going to see if they work. There's a video to start we wanted to show. So we're going to see if we can show that video real quick and get the... I thought it's pretty cool. Because there's a the video just talks about there's a mass thief that sneaks into everybody's house in America. Pretty much everybody in America sneaks into their house. Doesn't have a gun. Oh no, doesn't have a gun. He's got a briefcase. Very stylish briefcase. It has one that says banks and interest. It's got a number on it, 34.5%. 34.5%. And then the thief runs out of your house with 34.5% of your money. Jeff, what you got to say about that?
Well, it's happening and people aren't even aware of it, and it's legal. And,
yeah.
The name of it is interest. The thief's name is interest. Every time you get paid, he steals 30 to 35% of every dollar that you make.
Now, September is Life Insurance Awareness Month, and we're going to be talking about life insurance. One of the reasons why people think they can't afford life insurance is because the drain on their income from interest, from debt payments, mortgage debt payments, car debt payments, credit card debt payments, school loan debt payments, and God forbid you have one of them payday loans. Oh, Lord. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So we want to kick off a conversation that will completely transform how you think about money, wealth, and yes, even life insurance. Okay. So before we get started, let us know you're out there. Drop a money bag in the chat. Drop a money bag in the chat or another emoji. Let us know you're out there. Drop a money bag in the chat or another emoji. Let us know you're out there. And if you've ever felt like you were working hard, but that money was just bad, that 30. Drop an emoji, like a money bag emoji or some other emoji. Drop it in the chat so we can know that that you're with us.
Sure, the chats are going crazy, man.
So
everybody, I bet the chats are just going crazy because I'm sure everybody has felt that at some point in time or another that somehow their money's just disappearing. Every month before they can even get to really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. You got paid today is Friday. Like you say, the Eagle flies on Friday. Saturday, I go out to play. But depending on how much interest and debt you're playing, we're not going too far to play, and we're not doing too much. Okay, right. because of all the things I mentioned. Okay, now what if there's a way to fire that interest from your life, to get rid of it, so that you're not paying that interest anymore, and you're financially free, debt free, actually debt free, and mentally, financially free from the stress of paycheck to paycheck. 70% of households in America are living paycheck to paycheck. 70%. Okay, and virtually no households have $1,000 to handle an emergency that might come up. If you're an adult in America, every month there's a good chance something that's going to impact you at the rate of $1,000 has a good chance to happen. So not having that $1,000, man, it causes a lot of issues. Okay, we want to introduce a concept to you that can help eliminate the debt, create the cash flow, and also give you the insurance protection you need for your family to protect them in the short term and build wealth in the long term. So what do you think about that, Jeff?
Yeah, I was thinking about something that the problem is that for many people, this paying of this interest and getting robbed every time you get paid is almost normal. And what we're talking about and what we try to present to people is it goes against conventional thinking. So, I'm sure there are people out there that are like us, just, sick and tired of being sick and tired and getting robbed every time you get paid. And literally that money that's flowing out the window, it's never coming back. So if we could shut that window, close that window, and stop the thief from stealing from us, and then get that money coming back towards us, that'll make all the difference in the world.
Yeah. And what we're talking about is a concept. Now, this concept is kicked around on the internet a lot, and it's called infinite banking. Okay, now here's the challenge. With those words, infinite banking and infinite banking concept. There's a gentleman named R. Nelson Nash who back in the early 80s coined the phrase infinite banking concepts from some work and study he did. And he actually trademarked that phrase, infinite banking concept. So when you say those words together, infinite banking concept, in this financial context, it has a very specific meaning. It means using a specific kind of financial tool called a mutual dividend paying whole life insurance product as a financial instrument to create a banking-like situation. You're not a bank. That insurance policy isn't a bank, it's an insurance policy. But it gives you the opportunity to control the banking function. What does that mean, Jeff? Control the banking function. Why is that important? What is that? What does that mean?
Well, banking is a process by which with access to capital. Sorry about that. That every dollar that you have or every dollar that you spend, you are financing either using borrowed money or money that you have that you've saved. And that's the process of banking. And if you're able to control that, then that's probably the pivotal key to you being able to create wealth for you and for your family. If a third party is controlling that, then they're extracting that wealth from you and from your family to the tune of, and very conservatively, to the tune of 34.5%. For many people, that number can be very double of that even. So it's really important that people understand that. And that's why we want them to become educated and actually learn how to take back the control of that banking function in their financial life. There's a book that you referenced, Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. And we encourage people to get a hold of that book. I believe our producer's going to drop that link in the chat or in the show notes so that people can get a hold of that book. And we encourage you, at a minimum, you want to become educated and get a hold of that book and begin to educate yourself on how the infinite banking concept works and how you can actually employ it to create wealth for you and for your family. And again, stop that thief from stealing from you.
So here's the idea. For years, I worked in corporate America. We would have what are called capital projects. In other words, you would need money to build a manufacturing facility or distribution facility or spend money on launching a new product. Well, that money wasn't free because that money could be invested somewhere and be making a rate of return. And we called it a riskless rate of return. In other words, you can go to the government, get 3, 4, 5%, 100% guaranteed, right? So that's the minimum that you would get. So if you go and invest in some project and it doesn't at least hit that rate of return, plus something over that for profitability, you're wasting your time. Do you see that? If I could just take my money, go over here and get 3, 4, 5%, that's going to come back in my account. And you can't get that through your project. The question is, why should I do your project? It's a fair question.
It's opportunity cost.
Yeah, it's an opportunity cost. So we have to cover that in our everyday life. So when you and I go and spend money on something, you're losing money on that because you're giving up the ability to get interest on that money for every generation going forward in your life. How much money is that? Millions. So one of the first things we want to do is we want to take control of that banking function. Because right now, who has that banking function in most people's life, Jeff?
Someone else. The bank, finance company, credit union.
The bank, they're taking your money and they're loaning it out to other people and making money. And then getting on your back when you have overdraft fees and this and that, the other thing, 6 and the third. They're going to charge you for that. What we want to talk to you about is being your own bank. So, Asia, if you could put up on the screen the link that says, that has our calendar on it and the link to buy the book. So there's a bookstore. It's called lifesuccesslegacy.com/store. You can get the book there. And that website is some books by some mentors of ours who've been involved in this infinite banking for multiple decades and are working with 3 and 4 generations of people who've leveraged infinite banking for their good. So you really want to get that book. Okay? Life Success Legacy.com/store. Okay? Now, what's the next phase? Okay, you decide you want to do that. One, I'd encourage you to schedule an appointment with Jeff or myself. They'll show you in the chat and at the bottom of the screen the link you can use to schedule time with us. I think they also put that in the chat, so you can copy and paste it, put it in your computer, and be able to. Why is that important? So that we can work with you to determine your best strategy for going forward and really be eliminating your debt mightily in a few years.
We're going to charge you exactly $0 to figure out how we can help you. And if we can't put you in a better position tomorrow than you are today, we won't do anything to hurt you. So you're better off by scheduling some time, learning about this concept, and letting us see what we can do to help put you in a better position. As Gus mentioned, getting you out of debt in a very short period of time compared to what you're going to do with whatever you're presently doing. And a lot of times people have great ideas. They're actually not doing anything necessarily bad or wrong. It's just not the most efficient way for them to accomplish the objective that they have. You know, I hear people, at one time I was a big proponent of telling people, you know, if you add an extra mortgage payment per year that you have applied directly to principal, that'll knock, you know, maybe 10 years off your mortgage. And, you know, we were excited about that, Gus. But we've heard stories of people getting out of debt in under, you know, 6, 7 years, 8 years, not changing any of their cash flow or their cash flow habits now. So imagine if you kept the same cash flow habits that you have now, but you could be out of debt in 8 years, including your mortgage, without adding any extra income or any extra money to what you're already doing. Is that worth finding out about? If it is, you need to schedule some time.
Yeah, and I want to say it a little differently. It is about changing your habits, because you habitually spend money this way. We're going to get you to spend money this way. It's going to be the same amount, though. It's going to be the same amount. Okay? So in a sense, the spending habit will be the same, but it'll be different. The amount of money spent differently. Is that fair enough?
Yep.
So where we start is having you to sit down with us and work through your financial situation and see what kind of goal we're talking about setting. So when you're making progress throughout this program. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to lay out all the things you own and all the things you owe. Own are the things that you capture, like you're paying interest for your house, you own that. Stock and bonds, you own other things that you own. Then you got things that you're, for all intent and purpose, renting out. We want to put those numbers, get those numbers down, so we can then begin to leverage the participating whole life insurance to pay off your debt. Okay, so.
Gosh, you know, we were talking about that real life case of that young lady. You want to mention a little bit about that?
Excuse me.
Obviously, don't use the person's name, but
the issue is pretty common. You know, good income, but they've got debt payments. And so they were trying the strategy of putting more money in the debt payments to get it to pay off with it. And so while we're not against that strategy, there's some other things you can be doing at the same time. And with the dividend paying life insurance, it's set up to grow the cash value very, very quickly. So in year one, you can have access to 85, 90% of your money that you put in the policy. Okay, so imagine that happened. And you took all the payments you were making extra, along with the mortgage payment for that life insurance policy and pay that on the mortgage and then another deal that we've identified as a high potential. What you'll find is by doing that, and then when those debts are paid off, taking that extra money, continuing to apply it to the next debt that you have, and you still got that insurance policy being applied, and you apply that next time. What do you think will happen to your debt?
Going away fast.
Yeah, it's going to go away fast. Now, well, I could do this without no whole life policy. Yeah, but you're missing some benefits, like hundreds of thousands of, maybe even millions of dollars. We need.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about the story of the young lady whose mother learned about this concept and began to implement it, 10 years ago when she was a freshman in college. And she didn't really understand what was going on, but she, her mother saw it. It made sense to her. She says, you know what? I'm gonna get this thing started. And she didn't start with a whole lot of money that she was tucking away in this thing. It was just a few dollars on a monthly basis, but she got it started for her daughter. And now, as a result, her daughter graduated college, was able to get started in her profession. And, she chose to be smart, and she controlled or basically minimized her expenses, and was able to leverage this tool and pay off all of her student debt in a very short period of time. She's not even 30 yet, and she's completely debt-free as it relates to her student debt. And now she can start her life much more empowered, and she can actually still use this tool for a down payment on a house or a car or whatever is next for her. Her mother actually gave her already paid off car to drive while she was in college, so she didn't have that to deal with. But this is a real life story. This is a real life person where they implemented this concept, and it made all the difference in the world. And I think about back to when I was in college, and the amount of debt that I got into, and I wish I'd have known this back then. It would have made a world of difference for me. So that's what we're talking about. And I don't know if Age is able to pull that QR code up. We really want you. We actually have an upcoming event in next month in October. It's going to be an in-person seminar and virtual webinar. So even if you're not in the Chicagoland area, you can attend virtually. We're going to be walking through this in detail. It's called Wisdom Over Wall Street, taking back control of your finances. That's going to be October 11th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to noon. So a couple hours. So we encourage you to scan that QR code, get registered for that event. I promise you, it'll be well worth your time. You're going to be impacted in ways that you can't even imagine yet. And it'll get you started down the road and down the process of being able to implement this concept for you and for your family. Gus? So, you know what? As another thing that we want to highlight here is that it's so important to get educated, and that's why we recommend getting started with the book. That's really the first key step for you in this process, is to get a hold of that book, buy the Becoming Your Own Banker book on that website that AJ put in the chat earlier. If you go to the lifesuccessandlegacy.com to their store, you can purchase that book. And then the next step is to talk to a professional, consult with Gus or myself, and just understand what your situation is and what we can do to help you to be in to create your own system so that again you can stop the thief that's stealing from you on a month-to-month basis by implementing the infinite banking concept. You know, the very important thing is that you got to first understand what the problem is. You're constantly paying banks and lenders for your cars, for your homes, for your education, etc. Just like as I mentioned with that young lady who was able to, again, take care of paying off her student debt in a very short period of time because she had this tool in place. Her mother was able to implement this concept for her and help her to pay off her student debt very shortly after graduating. Two, once you understand the problem, now you're open for the solution. We can redirect that money, that you've been paying towards the interest in your car and your home and all those other things. We can redirect that back into your own banking system that you can control using a properly structured dividend-paying whole life insurance policy. And so we're really excited about helping a generation of people. Gus and I, along with our team, have committed to servicing at least 1 million families with this concept over the next 10 years. And a vision or an objective of that magnitude cannot happen unless we have a bunch of people to help us with it. That's why we are employing. We want to help you, and then once we do a good job helping you, we want you to introduce us to other people that you know and care about, and help us get the word out about why how this can help people, and help people to understand why this matters. So, really excited about this upcoming event in October. Again, scan that QR code. You can register for the Wisdom Over Wall Street, Taking Back Control of Your Finance event. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to noon. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have a really good time, and it's going to be really impactful. And if you're not in Chicago, you can attend virtually by clicking on the Zoom link. There is also that QR code, I believe, will take you to an Eventbrite page where you can register for the event to be in person or to be virtual, whichever is appropriate for you. So we're really excited about that. Gus, we got like another 90 seconds left. Anything else to add?
Yeah, man. I apologize. You want to make sure you get a handle on that event and go on Eventbrite and register for that. It'll be a 2-hour power-packed, practical, walking you through actual exercises to show you how to turn that interest around on your money and begin getting that money headed towards you and not out to the banks and interest payments. So make sure you get that QR code and register for the event. Also, let us know. Give us a heads up about what you learned today. Any questions you have, and then we'll see you next week.
All right.
See you, Jeff.
Take care.